Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording on Thursday, February 27th, and we're talking about the Celtics' upcoming homestand. And by upcoming, I mean it's right now. They play the Cavs tonight as this video is coming out. Then they got the Nuggets, and then the Blazers, and then the Sixers, and the Lakers, and the Jazz, and the Thunder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 home games in a row, all of which are going to be relatively big games for the most part. Cavs, Denver, obviously two great teams Celtics could see in the playoffs. Portland, for as much as they're below in the standings, have actually been playing really, really well lately. So that's going to be a team hungry and looking to win. Philly's Philly, even if they're the worst team in the league, that's going to be something. Same thing with the Lakers-Celtics matchup. Jazz is the only real, I suppose, throwaway one that you can toss aside. But Will Hardy coming to town. And then OKC is obviously the one everyone has their minds on because Celtics lost to them last time, and that's the predicted finals matchup. So big homestand coming up, starting with the Cavs. And I mean, I'm pumped up. That's all I'll say.
This is like final exam week. It's really weird. We're almost to the end of the regular season. There's a month and a half-ish left until they're done. I think the 13th is the official last home or game of the regular season. So, yeah, about a month and a half. And this is the last stretch of basketball where the Celtics are going to play real teams. If you go and look at the rest of the schedule, it's pretty fucking funny besides this. So, it's time to start winning games, especially the ones at home. The Celtics have not been great at home this year. The last 14 games, they are 7-7. North Station. I'm really excited to see how they show up in these big games because the funny thing about the Celtics team has been as unreliable as they have been at home. They have equally been as reliable when the lights are bright. For the most part, they have showed up in these big games, even the ones that they've lost. The game in OKC, they played their best half of the year and then just go ice cold in the second half. They've beat Cleveland 2 out of 3 times. The one loss, they needed a Mitchell avalanche in the fourth quarter with no Derek White, no Jalen to beat the Celtics. The Lakers was terrible. That was a terrible loss. Denver, they have not beat without Jokic since 2022. Since late 2022, they've not beat him without Jokic. So these will all be huge tests for the Celtics with the playoffs right around the corner. We can kind of like talk about them one-on-one or whatever you want to do with it, but lots to see. They have showed up in the big games.
Exactly. And they haven't been very good at home. I mean, my thoughts on home versus away have been well documented on here, but the whole point of having home court advantage in the playoffs is to be able to play more games at home. And so, if by nothing else, the fact that they will be playing more games at home in the playoffs means they should probably win games there. And the crowd's gonna be hyped up. Like people always say, Celtics fans are smart fans. Celtics fans know how big this homestand is. They know how good Cleveland is. They know Denver. They know Jokic. They know the Thunder. The Lakers, the Sixers, the Sixers. Like these are big, big games. 4 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 are games that people should be excited for. I don't care how bad the Sixers are. You get excited when the Celtics play the Sixers. That's how it is. Same thing with the Lakers. I don't care if it was the Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle Lakers. You get excited when the Celtics play Lakers. That's how it is, right? Even as a guy, me, who isn't like as into rivalries, like you just do. Like fans get excited. They understand it. They like it.
Yeah.
So this is a big stretch, man. And I do half wonder how much we see Joe experiment in some of these games. Mark Dagnall had a really, really good quote on double big lineups the other day. So he was basically asked, like, how relevant is your opponent when you're deciding to run a double big lineup? And he said irrelevant right now, to be honest. He said going into the playoffs, it would be irresponsible of us not to know everything there is to know about every part of our team. And I thought that was a really, really fucking good quote. And that's very cool to think about. Like, think about how many lineups you've looked at Joe Mazzulla run and be like, what the fuck are you doing? If you don't run it, you won't know what you have. And for a team like the Thunder, for a team like the Celtics, where maybe the Celtics can chase the Cavs, but they're in a point where they should be comfortable getting the 2 seed, 1 seed, 3, like whatever. As long as you're top 4, really, for the Celtics, you should be okay. This is fine. Like I'm good. Maybe top 2, and that's probably where they're at land anyway, so it's irrelevant. But at that point, figure out what there is to know. Figure out what you need to know about your team, what you need to like find out, figure out to stay relevant and have as many different looks at your disposal in the playoffs. And for as important as this stretch is, it's also a big stretch to see, like, these are Cleveland could see in the playoffs. That's one. Like Philly on some off chance they get through the play-in. maybe, right? But probably not.
Yeah.
Nuggets, you could see in the playoffs if they make the finals. Thunder, you could see in the playoffs if they make the finals. Fuck, if Luka goes on some transcendent run, maybe you see them again. Like, even however unlikely, these are X amount of teams you could see in the finals or in the playoffs or something at some point. So you want to bring your A game. You want to throw out as many potentially solid lineups as you can, and it's going to be very fun basketball to watch. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think you're going to get really good crowds at these games too. Like Friday night, Cleveland 1 versus 2 at TD Garden. You would have to imagine that the fans will be juiced up unless they've been priced out, which is a whole nother discussion. But it'll be a chance to secure the season series over the Cavs. Not that it's really going to matter towards a tiebreaker, but it'll be really good for an edge going in the playoff series, knowing that you beat them 3 out of 4 times. The one time you weren't at full strength without like an all-star, all NBA level guy in Jalen, like that's real. That's a real thing that you were without. Not to say that, the Celtics did not lose that game despite that. Like, they very well could have won it, and they didn't finish it off, and Cleveland did, and they earned the win. Like that, I'm not dismissing that, but if you win 3 out of 4, you feel pretty good going into a playoff matchup against them. And then as soon as you turn around, it's Denver. Like Jack said, very realistic team to face in the finals. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they do so and they make a finals run. I don't know if they're the same Denver team as the one that won the finals 2 years ago. Jokic is still there. Jamal Murray is still there. A lot of the core guys are still there. They've played Jenga a few times. They lost some pieces from the championship team. They lost KCP to the Magic this summer. They're a little bit different. They're still competitive. They've been hot right now, as have all of these teams we're talking about in terms of, the actual good teams. I wrote about this for Celtics Blog. I kind of broke it up into 2 categories. We have the multiple choice section, which is the Sixers, Blazers, and Utah Jazz. Then you have the essays, which are Cleveland, Denver, Lakers, OKC. Again, 4 teams with a bare minimum 8-2 record in their last 10. They're all playing really good basketball as the Celtics start off this homestand. I mean, anytime the Lakers are in town, as you said, massive game. Anytime LeBron is here, massive game. There's a budding Luka rivalry now. He's now a member of the Lakers. We all have to hate him. That's the rule. And then you have the finals element to that, where this is the first time he's playing here since the finals when they humiliated him. They essentially ended his career in Dallas, something he's not happy about. Though he's coping better with the trade, he's not thrilled about being traded away from Dallas. He wanted to be there for the rest of his career. How is Luka going to respond? That should be a high-energy game, Saturday night primetime. These are all massive spots for the Celtics to prove themselves, or I wouldn't even say prove themselves. I think everybody respects them. I think cement themselves. Remind everybody what sort of team they are heading into the playoffs. Because there's been a lot of talk, and not to say it's not warranted, about OKC and how well OKC has played. Cleveland has earned a ton of talk, even though people don't seem to put them above Boston, which I think is the correct take. But those 2 teams are earning a lot of respect. It would be a great chance for the Celtics to kind of just be like, hey, remember us? Remember the team that won a championship last year and had a historic-ish season? It would be pretty sick to see them remind everybody. It's very possible.
Definitely. And in that Pistons game, I look at that as a one-off. Like I did a whole video on it today. I'm trying to remember the numbers off the top of my head. They turned the ball over 17 times, and 14 of them were before garbage time. Of those, 12 were live ball turnovers or like something like that. They gave up 14 offensive rebounds, 12 in non-garbage time, and they shot 10 of 23 in the paint. And they gave up transition opportunities off those. Combined, the live ball turnovers, the offensive rebound opportunities, and the transition opportunities off of missed shots in the paint, they gave up 39 points from those 3 areas alone. All of which are very fixable issues when you're locked in as you should be, and they just weren't, which is fine. It happens, but regardless, this homestand, I'm very, very excited about. I think it's going to be some of the best basketball we see all year from the Celtics outside of the playoffs in terms of competitiveness and what we see Joe Mazzulla bring out of his arsenal. We do have a few questionable players heading into tomorrow against Cleveland, but we'll see. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you're excited about the homestand. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, tell us what you're thinking ahead of the homestand. Big games coming up, final exam coming up. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. We're here every single day. We'll have a game recap tomorrow night. We'll be doing pregame live before tonight's game from the Garden. I'm sure it'll go swimmingly as it always does there. We also do other videos in between on the channel the days when there are no games. You can find us on Spotify and Apple as well. All pods and recaps are up there for you. Pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. I don't know if I said that part. So follow. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We're reading all your emails on the pods, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance. And that's it for us. Bye.
Taco. Come on.
Taco's